Welcome, I'm Elisa Parker, and we are broadcasting live from the Wild and Scenic Film Festival. It's been a couple years since we've all gathered together, and we're celebrating 21 years of this festival. It's the largest of its kind in the United States, based right here in Nevada City and Grass Valley, California. We have thousands of extraordinary filmmakers and social change makers and other special guests that are joining us over the weekend. I'm honored to be here with so many of them and kick it off. And our first guest is John DeGraff, who's no stranger here to Wild and Scenic. So welcome, John.
Thank you. Great to be here as always.
It's great to have you here. So tell us, what is the film that you're featuring this weekend?
Sure. My film is called Stuart Udall, The Politics of Beauty, and it's a biography of the most famous Interior Secretary in American history who served during the Kennedy and Johnson administrations and is responsible for most of the most significant environmental legislation in our nation's history, not to mention scores of national parks and monuments and all sorts of things like that.
And how did you connect with this story in the first place, and what inspired you to cover his story?
Well, I interviewed Stuart back in 1988 for a film I was doing about the environmentalist David Brower of the Sierra Club. The two had come across each other over the issue of the proposed Grand Canyon dams. And I just found Stuart to be such an incredibly humble and interesting character, particularly for a political figure, something you just don't see that much of. And I'd kind of forgotten about that, but then in 2020, I read one of those things that says 100 years ago today in the papers, said Stuart Udall was born. Well, he died in 2010, so he was not alive anymore, but I thought, wow, he was such a great guy. I wonder if anybody did a film about him.
Had anyone?
No, nothing more than about 10 minutes. So I read a couple of biographies. I contacted members of the Udall family, started raising money, and this is the result.
And here we are. Yeah. And what keeps you coming back to Wild and Scenic? Because as I mentioned, you've been here many times.
Well, immodestly, it is nice that you named an award after me.
That's true.
So I've been asked often to come and present that to the winning filmmaker, whatever year that is. But the main reason I come is that I just really enjoy it. I think it's a great festival, wonderful people. I love Nevada City. It's definitely my favorite festival.
It's Wild and Scenic. So what is one of the wildest things that's happened with you, for you, during your filming process?
One of the wildest things that's happened. That's a good question. I mean, I'm not sure I have an answer for you.
No wild. Are you going to think about it for your interview over the weekend?
Maybe I could think about it. Yeah, how about if I promise to think?
Okay, we'll table that one. Also, just thinking about, so post-pandemic, which we hope we're post-pandemic right now, what has been one thing of how you're showing up differently, or how it's impacted the stories you're covering or the work you're doing?
Well, it impacts audiences. I think audiences are smaller since the pandemic. So that's one thing. But it hasn't diminished the enthusiasm. When people are there, we have great conversations and all of that. It hasn't really affected my filmmaking, although on this one we had to dodge between those periods when you couldn't do anything with COVID and those month or 2 month windows when you could go out and do shooting. So that was one thing.
Well, and here we are 3 years later. And real quick, what would be your message to everyone about why it's so important to come be part of a festival like Wild and Scenic?
Well, I guess there's no question that we have serious environmental problems. Most strongly, of course, global warming, but there are many others. But we also need to get the good stories and the solutions and see what people are doing to fix those things. And I think many of those are showcased at Wild and Scenic, and my story is certainly one of those. Stuart Udall was a doer. He was somebody who came up with many, many solutions to environmental problems.
Well, thank you, John, so much for your contribution and everything you're doing to make a difference. Storytelling is so important. Go and do. I think that might be our theme.
Go and do.
Go and do. And that's what we do here at Wild and Scenic. Thank you so much, John.
Thank you.
It's great to have you. Yeah, pleasure. By the way, we're going to be broadcasting on Wild, in addition to broadcasting here on Facebook and also on YouTube on our Wild and Scenic Film Fest pages, also on KBMR. So we will be preempting our regular programming on Democracy Now! And be with you for the hour. And we have John coming up next. We're going back to back with the Johns today. Hey, John.
Hey.
Hey, it's so good to see you.
yeah.
So I
You just had John DeGraff. You were just speaking with John DeGraff, and I was once the winner of the John DeGraff Environmental Filmmaking Award. So we're like-minded.
You are like I love the sweet synchronicity. It's interesting. We're kicking off the Media Lounge at Wild and Scenic with some of our our pioneers. You've been okay, yeah, and I feel that I hear you doing this over 14, 15 years.
Scary, yeah.
It's scary.
I try to remember when I first came. It would have been 2010, 2011, something like that.
Right. So yeah, 12, 13 years later. Okay, tell us about your film and what brought you to Wild and Scenic this time.
Well, the new film is called Dear President Biden. It's the fourth in my Dear series. Dear Governor Cuomo, Dear President Obama, Dear Governor Brown, now Dear President Biden. All slightly different, but with that same theme of kind of politely but firmly asking these guys to live up to their campaign promises mostly. Because Biden, when he was campaigning, said that he would make climate change part and parcel of everything that his administration did. So we went around the country and asked frontline activists, how's he doing?
How was he doing?
Well, mixed bag. Yeah. I mean, they've passed legislation that has been a lot of money's gone back into the environment, but for whatever reason, the people that we met and filmed aren't benefiting from that Inflation Reduction Act.
Most of our films are solution oriented. So, what do you want everyone to do following seeing this film?
Well, again, politely but firmly ask their representatives, their congressmen, senators, presidents to both consider climate change a serious, and as Biden said when he was campaigning, an existential threat. He said that over and over and over again. So it's not so hard to look back and see how he's doing.
Right. So you're in Hudson Valley.
I live in the Hudson Valley of New York, which is like the Nevada City of New York State.
I need to go. Having just moved to Brooklyn now, I need to go and visit.
No, it's almost identical. Hip little town filled with rich people. Escape from your people escaped from San Francisco and New York. They're escapees from Manhattan.
We're all escaping. Hopefully, we don't have to escape due to global warming, John, or climate change,
or flooding,
or forest fires, which a lot of we cover here at Wild and Scenic. Okay, so I asked John. I've asked you probably before, but it's been a couple years. What's one of the wildest things that's happened to you recently and during your productions?
Wildest things.
And you've done a lot of adventures.
We went around the world by sea kayak. So my
around the world on a sea kayak?
Yeah, one continent at a time, very slowly. Yeah.
That would be slow. If you said you did it quickly.
Yeah, no. It took 10 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, but that was another project. No, what happens to me is I always survive those trips without incidents, and then I come to a place like Nevada City and I'll get lost. Probably late tonight you'll see me wandering around, incapable of finding my way.
All right. Well, if anyone sees John wandering around, we'll help you out.
Help me.
We'll be your navigators. And real quick, also, just post-pandemic, how has this shifted how you are showing up in your life and covering the stories that you are?
Yeah, well, I'm pretty lucky because this film, Dear Governor Biden, or Dear President Biden, is a little different in that we were forced to travel. It was the first travel I'd done post or during COVID. But a lot of my work these days is in the Hudson Valley. It's in the last 8 years or 9 years, I've made 20 short films, short being 25, 30, 40 minutes long, about my own backyard, which I think is really interesting because we often, push ourselves to travel halfway around the world thinking those are where the best stories are. And there are great stories out there, and I've done that, but I really enjoy getting to know my own backyard better by doing lots of filmmaking.
I love that. I totally hear, like during pandemic, looking at the birds, new species popping up I haven't noticed before.
Well, we have this horrific train derailment in Ohio going on, and we made a film in 2015 for the New York Times OpDoc page about these so-called bomb trains and what happens when they explode. So we were able to go back and visit that and show that people have been talking about this issue, for example, for a long time, but little changes.
Well, John Bowermaster, it's so great to have you back at Wild Scenic. Thank you so much for making this festival part of your life, and you've enriched it deeply, and you're always producing, creating, directing new extraordinary pieces, and being a pioneer in how we can make a difference and what we need to do. So I appreciate that. It's great to see you. We'll help you out. If we see you,
if you see me wandering.
see you wandering. But we're in a wanderlust mode anyway right now. So I love that. Well, it's good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, John. And we are broadcasting live here from the Wild and Scenic Film Fest Media Lounge. And we're going to be open actually through the weekend. Come on down. Hi. It's nice to meet you guys. I'm Elisa. Yeah.
Eli?
Hi, Eli.
I'm Sammy.
Hi, Sammy. We'll have you guys come in. We're getting intimate and close. I know it's different after the pandemic and such, getting so close with each other. Tell me, what is your film that you brought here to Wild and Scenic? And is this your first time?
It is our first time. We're so excited. We are here with our film Angel of Alabama.
Oh, great. And where did you come from?
North Carolina.
So you traveled quite a bit to get here.
Yeah, just a little hop and a jump and 7 hours of travel. But yeah.
That's all. That's all. And tell us a little bit about your film.
Well, I feel like Sammy did a really good job earlier of encapsulating this story, which is about a person named Brenda Hampton, who is really a lifelong community activist who we try to capture a snapshot of her work. Really, her work spans generations, but she, in the brief time that we got to know her, showed us so many different ways of what it can look like to show up for your community, both in just how can you help the person next door, but also how can you help your whole town or even further. So.
How did you connect with her?
So we have been working on a feature film about forever chemical pollution called PFAS, and we met Brenda in 2019 at the first International PFAS conference in Boston.
What is the PFAS conference?
It is a group of problem solvers from different sectors trying to come together to figure out how to tackle this really horrific pollution crisis that we've all been in. Everyone on the planet, we've been in this problem since around the 40s or the 50s, but are just now kind of joining the scene of trying to solve the problem.
Okay. And you also went there and connecting with storytellers and activists, or also, I'm assuming too, you're also your own solutionaries or problem solvers. Look at, I'm sure you are, Eli.
Well, I love that you said solutionaries because I joke sometimes that I'm a solutionist, but we can't actually say that because it sounds ridiculous. But absolutely, I mean, part of the reason we got involved with filmmaking was because we had eclectic backgrounds. Mine was a bit in science, and Sammy's is more in community engagement and education. And we realized that just being involved in a specific singular discipline, you can really miss a lot about solving big problems. But when you start to merge storytelling, merge media, merge science, merge community, you get beautiful things. And so, yeah, part of Brenda's story, Angel of Alabama, aims to show audiences that there is hope and there is optimism in solving, hard things like chemical pollution.
That's one of the themes too in watching so many of the films. Hope, a lot of focus on inclusivity and diversity, and how do we each show up for each other right now. How did with the pandemic, well, first, actually, have you made other films before? Or is this your first one?
So this was our first completed project. We are wrapping up a second short, which is it's also related to PFAS. So most of our work centers on PFAS and problem solving. So we joke that we just kind of live straight in Bummertown. Population, all of us, but
I get it. Yeah.
Right. But so the other short that we just released, just premiered in Las Vegas, is about PFAS in firefighter gear, because it turns out that is one of the driving causes of firefighter cancer.
Okay. And when is the film screening?
For Angel of Alabama, we are screening tomorrow morning and tomorrow evening.
Okay. And what is one thing, real quick, that you want everyone to take away from the experience of this film here at the Wild and Scenic Film Fest this weekend?
I think it has to be, I'm almost restating myself, but it's really a reminder of the power that we have as individuals, even if we are in an area where it feels like we're under-resourced, we're ignored. I mean, Brenda demonstrates that through so much adversity that she basically says, no, screw this, I'm going to change things. And, well, the film explains in detail, but she has done truly things like changing the world against such uphill odds.
Well, congrats on the production, and everyone can make a difference, and that's one of the messages here as we're putting unity and community. And so it's great to have you both here. Welcome, enjoy the festival, and thanks so much for being here, you both.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. And I'm Elisa Parker. We are broadcasting here from the Wild and Scenic Film Fest, and it's been 21 years, which is incredible. And we have a fantastic team here with us. Hi, Codette. Hi, I'm Elisa. Hi, Graciela. Here, I'm going to have you join right over here as well. Yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
Have you been to the festival before?
This is my first time, actually.
Where did you come from?
I'm from Santa Barbara, so Central Coast, California.
I went to school there. I have an older daughter living there right now.
I've had so many people from there today.
You did? Really?
I've gone to school there, have some kind of connection. I'm surprised.
We're coastal. That's how it's working. So is it black?
Black like plastic.
Black like plastic. Great. So tell us a little about the film.
Yeah, so the film is essentially a story to draw parallels between the Black community and culture and the environment, the way that they're perceived. Also talks a little bit about breaking down barriers that exist, and weaving into the opportunities we have into create a more inclusive, accessible outdoor and conservation movement.
I was saying that's such a big theme I'm noticing this year is it's so important focusing on intersectionality and inclusivity and diversifying. Was it Chris? Is it Chris? Right.
Yeah. Yes, Chris Ragland is my colleague, and he helped co-produce and direct it. He wanted to come. Unfortunately, he's doing programming. This is a week of his programming launch, so he couldn't make it. But yeah, he was very involved in it, creating it, and he narrates the film, also develops some of the story around it. And yeah, it just was a good time.
Have you produced other films?
This is my first film. Yeah.
So what is it then that propelled you to say, that's it, I need to do something, I'm going to make a movie?
Well, at the root of it is just really being passionate about the stories that we tell with people and the environment, and the connections that they have to, land, water, cultural connections. And so I was previously on the leadership team of an organization called Latino Outdoors, and this is really where my journey into the diversity, inclusion, and equity and justice started. And so I noticed that for me, growing up, there was a lack of content and stories that really motivated me or that spoke to me in a way that I felt I could relate to in regards to the environment and conservation. And so I felt like that was really missing. But for this film specifically, it was around Black History Month that we wanted to have some content. And originally it was going to be like a reel for social media. And as the creative process evolved, we just decided that we wanted to make something a little bit longer. And so it evolved into a film. And here we are.
Here you are. Well, congratulations. And in watching it, one of the participants in the film, it's like debunking, it's not even a myth, but just saying like, everybody cares about this. Everyone's involved in this instead of white privileged people who often it's perceived as being the ones that are out doing the environmental action or out in the outdoors. And your movie does an extraordinary job of capturing people telling their personal stories about what this means to them and how they're showing up in this as well, and why it's really important to hear all the stories and know that everyone's engaged.
Correct. Yeah, and it's also just about, getting folks to think about like who the environmental future is designed for and how we're creating access to either, land, recreation, or just like work in the professional world, right, in the conservation and environmental sector. So yeah, I think it's important just to show, how the different ways that people relate to nature.
So Wild and Scenic, there's a lot of crazy stories that happen, both in the town over the festival and obviously during the productions. What's one of the wildest things that's happened for you? Whether that's been the last couple years with the production or just beyond that?
Well, yeah, this is a funny question because the whole film turned out we had to shift gears completely because the entire footage was it wasn't any good. The sound was messed up.
Audio is so important.
Audio, yeah. So the original plan that we had for the film was something completely different than what came out of it, but that's okay.
It's all on purpose, Graciela. That's how it works.
Yeah, definitely. So, we're happy with it, and we were able. It really challenged us in that way, where you have a small budget, and you have what you have, and so you have to figure it out, and that's what we did. So we created another story, or took the pieces that we had, and we're like, what can we do with this?
In some ways, it's probably better, and it refined the story. And I always just trust sometimes when that happens, it's all just on purpose. Yeah. But it is frustrating for sure. Yeah. It's so great to have you here at the festival. And when is the film screening?
tonight. I'm sorry, tomorrow, Saturday at 1 p.m. and Sunday at 10:30 p.m. It's part of the Adventure Shorts too. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. It's great to you too. We'll see you around. And we are broadcasting here at the Wild and Scenic Film Festival. And you might be joining us via Facebook or on YouTube. And if you're just watching this right now from your home, feel free to come on down to the festival. There's thousands of extraordinary people that join us over the weekend screening incredible films. Hi. Come on in. No, come on in. That's the whole thing. We're getting close and tight. It's so great to see you both. I'm Elisa.
Hi, Elisa. I'm Sarah Steele.
Oh, hi, Sarah.
Faith Briggs Rose.
Yeah, hi, Faith. Okay, tell me the name of your film.
We have a film called Outlier.
Outlier. And tell us a little bit about the movie.
Outlier Trust is the story of two Latinx women who are going out into the backcountry, learning about themselves and learning about their relationship with the outdoors and why spending time outside in snow sports helps bring them closer to themselves and to their identities.
So, and I'm assuming as the filmmakers, you had to join them and participate in some of this. Yeah, I see smiles. Was that crazy?
No, you would think so, but no.
You didn't?
We did not join this one. We actually kept the crew pretty small because it was a backcountry mission. And so we kept the crew pretty lean. So the other co-director with Faith is Danny Reyes Acosta. She's not here today.
I was sorry Danny couldn't make us join us here. It's so crazy after COVID. It's been 3 years since we've done this, so get a little time.
Doing great.
Yeah, we're in the flow. Yeah. But I was so sorry that she couldn't join us today.
Us too, yeah. But Danny Reyes Acosta, the co-director, one of the star subjects of the film, is the one that pushed us to do filmmaking in the backcountry this time. So yeah, it was very cool.
What is the key takeaway? A lot of the movies focus on solutions and in some ways providing hope to dire situations. What is the key takeaway that you want the viewers to know about this and moving them forward into some kind of action?
I think Danny Reyes Acosta would say that rather than try to fit in, be ready to embrace sticking out. That's the name of the film, Outlier. Trusting yourself, trusting your relationship, and really being okay with being an outlier.
I call it positive deviance.
Yes.
Or be a positive deviant. Since the pandemic, how has it shifted how you're showing up in your productions and your life? Is it changing your focus and direction now?
I personally, I don't know that COVID has itself changed things for me. I think that the reason we engaged, I run a small production company called Well Traveled Collective. We focus on female stories. We engaged in this project because there needs to be more conversations about identity. And so I think, if anything, the pandemic did was a bit of a reckoning around let's just press a giant reset button across a lot of things and tell stories that we want to tell in the way we want to tell them with the right teams to tell them. And so...
For sure. And Faith, you're nodding.
Yeah, I would say, so Danny is the co-director of this film. This film is her directorial debut. This is our festival, first festival run for a festival film that she's been involved with. And I think for both of us, we've been filmmakers for longer, but wanting to really support new filmmakers, support women filmmakers, support BIPOC filmmakers, and figure out how to just support them in telling their stories and getting that film out into the world. So I think for us being able to do that we felt more supported to do that ourselves, actually, because of the societal shifts we've.
And storytelling empowers all of us to know what's possible for ourselves. Real quick, since you do capture and feature women's stories, what would be your message to women or people that identify as women right now, women in the world?
Oh my God, that the world is so ripe for the stories you want to tell, and just to trust your gut. I have two other pieces in the festival. This is Beth and Healing in the Open. Both were directed by women. And I've just seen this encouragement from the world that these are stories that people want to hear. So,
and Beth, that's another great film. I mean, her contemplation of her own self-worth and how she navigates that. And we always see everyone as these champions of their lives and often don't see it ourselves. So that's a wonderful film as well. I know I've watched some of the movies.
Yeah, I would add, I think, Sarah's message to people that are women identifying and non-binary, I 100% support. And I would say to men in positions of power and other decision makers that we are out here. I think that's one thing. People are always like, oh, I couldn't find anyone, but I think Sarah and I's work is proof that we are out here.
We are out here, and sometimes it's just identifying with people who are part of that community to help support you and expand on that. Right?
100%.
All right, I'm looking forward to talking to you both later on because that's my passion as well. So and you're going to hear other stories here about extraordinary people sharing the stories of people that we need to know about, and it will provide insight and also just solutions for you and how we can all show up in this. So it's great to meet with you both. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Great to meet you.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Faith. We'll see you. No. Oh, yeah. Look, go behind. Look, that's smart. I love that. That's very smart. All right, and we're getting ready. They're so smart. That's going behind the... and we have our next guest here. We're broadcasting live from the Wild and Scenic Film Fest. 21 years. Hi. She's joining us here. Hi, come on down. It's like The Price is Right. And we, instead of winning prizes, we win great stories here. Yeah, come on and join us. I'm Elisa.
Hi, Elisa. I'm Masha Karpikina. Very nice to meet you.
You too.
I'm Rose.
Hi, Rose.
Hassan, nice to meet you.
Hi, Son. Okay, what is the film that you're representing here? And we'll get in close.
Absolutely. So we're representing The Last of the Nightingales, which is playing tonight at 7:30 p.m. at the Gold Miners Inn, part of the Nature in Arts program.
Yes, yes. Super excited, very excited.
Is this the film that's featuring Bernie? And this? Oh, I'm telling you, I know my stuff, guys. The Bernie. I did. So okay, so this is focusing on, oh God, there's so many different phrases how he describes like soundscapes.
That is
audio psychology. I might be making up things with it right now.
actually acoustic ecology.
Acoustic ecology. Tell everyone a little bit about that and why it's so important and how sound is influencing how we show up and protect our environments in our backyard and beyond in the world.
Absolutely. Well, everything in our universe, in the world and the planet, makes sound. Everything from the, geophonies, which are non-inanimate objects, to biophonies, all the biological living beings on Earth, humans. Everybody has a voice. And that voice is expressed. If we learn how to listen to it, it has a wealth of information it can reveal about a health of a habitat, about whether it's the place is distressed or happy, or is it getting enough, and sound can do that in a way that's a lot more effective than the visual picture representation.
Can you share the one powerful example of that when, like clear cutting, or it's selective foresting even, and how that, he learned how that affected the wildlife just through sound?
Yeah. Well, selective logging is something that they started doing instead of clear cutting. They thought that would be a better idea, and it is better. But what we learned when we took recordings, when Bernie took recordings of the entire system there and put that all together, was that you were losing countless species when you did that, right? And that was not something when you just looked that you could see. You're not going to go out there and count every single creature, right? So it was a breakthrough in science. It was really helpful.
It is a breakthrough, and it's an extraordinary film. Even just listening, which that's another key theme in the festival, is how do we listen and listen to each other and the wildlife. How were you involved?
Well, Masha brought me on the project. She's a great collaborator, a good friend of mine, and I was fascinated by Bernie and his whole journey of acoustic ecology and his massive archive of work. That was so profound, and Masha really got me hooked on it. I was like, yeah, I really want to be part of this. How can I not be? And knowing that he worked on movies like Apocalypse Now, which I'm a huge influential film, I was like, legendary. I want to work with this person for sure. So very fortunate for that.
What is one thing that you've learned real quick in participating and creating this movie featuring Bernie and soundscapes that's shifted how you are all showing up now?
Yes, so I really learned how to be quiet and listen, I think. And that's something that the world needs right now so very much, to show up for our planet, for our wilderness, for our forests, for our deserts, and learn how to listen, because that's what it's going to take for us to start caring about these places.
I can feel that this touches you and connects with you deeply.
Absolutely.
I see the tears in your eyes. There's going to be a lot of tears over the weekend. I just feel it. And when we're all gathering together for the first time here for Wild and Scenic in 3 years. Yeah, it's the first time to be doing it in person again, and it's a lot. And there's been a huge shift just in the films that I've been seeing and people connecting with, and I love seeing these new themes come up. And the film, The Last of the Nightingales, it was a whole different approach of how we can view and appreciate all of our senses, how we show up holistically, and to not even tackle, but to be aware and support.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the most profound things that I learned from Bernie especially is how fragile his process is and how fragile everything really is. Even though what he's capturing is on a big scale very significant as far as the shifts in time and the shifts in the climates and how the ecosystem completely becomes habitated by animals and creatures that you wouldn't expect to be living in those places. It's just seeing his comparison, his eye and his ear towards everything and how delicate he is was such a meditative Zen experience overall. That was amazing, yeah.
A lot of the things that we can learn from his work come from those ecosystems having already been decimated due to climate change. So it becomes even more like we start to see the impact of that in a very real way when you see that he's made these recordings over almost 50 years and we see what's changed.
And he has record numbers of archives on this, so it's extraordinary. When is it screening, real quick?
Tonight at 7:30 at the Gold Miners Inn.
All right, well, congratulations. Welcome to Wild and Scenic.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Last of the Nightingales. And you know what? We're experimenting. I think you might even be able to exit and go around. I think so. We're making it up as we go along, which is a big part of everything we do now. And I want to thank our volunteer and our team who's been with me for over, it seems like, 10 to 12 years. And who do we have coming up next? Kim's been helping us. Hi, come on down. We're broadcasting live here from the Wild and Scenic Film Fest. Hi, how are you?
Hi, doing great.
Ooh, you're doing great. What is your name?
My name's Alex Cantatori.
Hi, Alex. What is the film you came here to screen?
So my film is called Kumu Niu. It is about a group of people from the Niu Now movement, which started on Oahu in Hawaii. Actually, I'm wearing their shirt.
What is the symbol, too, on the back of the shirt?
It's a coconut.
That makes sense.
Niu is the Hawaiian word for coconut, and the film follows this movement called Niu Now as they plant a new grove of niu as part of their efforts to bring back coconut in Hawaii as both a sustainable food source and a sort of a cultural reclamation of this plant.
I love that. Well, and also just knowing the agricultural history in Hawaii and how it's destroyed some of the topsoils and the water and such, like sugarcane, pineapple. So is this a shift now by being more sustainable and looking at coconut growth?
Yeah, so coconut or niu is one of the plants that was brought over by early Polynesian explorers and was a big food and cultural staple for, close to 1,000 years before colonization and the shift in land use in Hawaii. So this group is basically just going around and collecting as many coconuts as they can and growing them as seedlings and giving them away to anybody who will grow them as food and anybody who is interested in reconnecting with that plant. Because if you go to Oahu today and walk around Waikiki, downtown Honolulu, you will see thousands of coconut trees, but most of them don't have coconuts in them.
Why is that?
Because now they are seen as sort of a liability.
You don't want coconuts falling on people.
Precisely. Even though there's really not a lot of data to support that a lot of people get hurt by coconuts, but it's also about knowledge. You know, people, if they don't have the knowledge not to walk directly under a coconut tree, then there is a chance that you could get hurt. But to see tens of thousands of coconut trees on Oahu without their coconuts in them is a shame. So.
Right. Well, how did you end up covering this in the first place?
So it was through, this film was funded by an organization called the National Association of State Foresters, and I was working with them to create a series of documentaries that were all about how trees in different places in the country profoundly affect the people that live with them. And we got connected through the Hawaii Department of Land and Natural Resources to this movement, Niu Now. And when I first heard Antimanu and Indrajit, who are the main characters of the film and also sort of the leaders of this movement, when I first heard them speak, I felt really connected to them. And so I reached out, and it's been a happy friendship and partnership ever since.
I love that. Do you hang out in Hawaii then? Do you live there?
No, I actually live in San Diego, California, but I was just in Hawaii last week, actually, on the island of Molokai, shooting with them again, as we are in the process of making a feature film about the Niu Now movement. So I go there whenever I can to film and see them and just try to be part of the...
You're in it now. You're in it, Alex.
Exactly.
What's been one of the wildest things that's happened for you or with you? It could have been on a production. It could have been outside of that.
I mean, I was just there last week working with a group of 15 or 20 people. Some of them came over from Oahu to help plant new ulu-niu, which are coconut groves on Molokai. And some of the people were from Molokai. They were, hosted us when we came over there. And it says it right on the shirt. We envision Niu as a relationship rooted in community and aloha aina. Aloha aina is love of land and service of people.
Aloha aina.
Aina.
Aina. Aloha aina.
And being with that group of people, the community that is fostered all around respect for land and for this plant is uplifting to say the least. I mean, there is nothing but positive energy and shared purpose the entire time we were there. So it's been amazing.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Alex.
Thank you.
Pleasure to meet you. And when is the film screening?
The film screening tonight at 7:30 at the Miners Foundry. Yes, as part of Food for Thought. And then tomorrow night, I think at 6:30 or 7 in Grass Valley. Can't remember the venue.
Fantastic. Center for the Arts, maybe.
That sounds
we'll
right.
Figure it out. Yeah. Ding, ding. There you go.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Alex. It's great to have you here. And we're doing an experiment. We'll have you go behind the...
Okay.
We get to go behind the
Just
camera.
watch out in case I knock you out. All right. Thank you.
I'm watching out. I'm watching. All right. So we're going to be live here with you for an hour or so until about 5:30. And hi, come on down. Hi, I'm Elisa.
I'm Matt.
Hi, Matt. Nice to meet you. Have you been to Wild and Scenic before?
I have not. This is my first time.
Where did you arrive from?
I'm coming in from Colorado.
Oh, wow. Okay. And what is the film that you're representing?
Green the City.
Green the City. Can you tell everyone a little bit about it?
Sure. It's about a simple solution to climate change and how that impacted local communities in St. Louis through green theology. A pastor there essentially wanted to reduce costs in his church, and so he brought in solar panels and kind of through that started talking about ways that people could be involved in green energy in the community. So, yeah.
How did you get involved in this in the first place?
So through a company, Impact Media Lab, we got brought on board with, we've had a film here in the past, but we got brought on board with the American Association for the Advancement of Science to do a series on stories of hope, people combating climate change, making an effort, making a stride to do something good for the world. And it was a really fun summer of films that we brought together a couple of years ago, but then the following summer we got to go out to St. Louis, jump in on this story.
That's great. I was just thinking the word hope right as you said that. What does bring you hope these days?
Small actions adding up.
Like what would be one?
My wife and I actually talking about solar panels. We about a year ago put solar panels in our house, and that's just led from one small thing to another. We're going to put in a induction cooktop next, and it's each individual doing one small thing. Sort of small base hits. If we can get on base, we can move along the bases and make big changes all together. And I think we all feel that that weight of the climate crisis and just want to do something. But if we just do those little things that we can in our daily lives, that's pretty powerful.
Feeling the weight, has that shifted at all for you, or what has shifted since the pandemic?
Since the pandemic, In being a part of this storytelling effort, honestly, seeing a lot of people around the country, because we got to travel all around the country, and again see these small little acts adding up. So that gives me hope, and I'm excited to be here, a part of this film festival, because I know there's going to be a lot of other stories of hope, people making cool strides towards positive action. So, in large part, being surrounded by this awesome community, I think will also continue to give me hope as a filmmaker.
And when is the film screening?
This film is tomorrow morning at 9:30, and then Sunday at 2. So part of the EnviroActivism series.
It was so nice meeting you, and thanks so much for joining us here. And hope and unity and community are big themes that we have for Wild and Scenic. And thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see who we have next. I see. Yeah, nice meeting you. And hi, I'm Elisa.
Nice to meet you, Carrie.
Hi, Carrie. Oh yeah.
Zainab.
Hi, Zainab. Oh, I was just watching your movie. Hi, come on. Tim, nice to meet you.
Zara.
Hi, Zara. Let's see. We're going to try and get everyone. We're tight. But I know you are all a very tight family anyway. And wow, it's honored to actually connect with you. And first, tell me is it free to run?
Yeah, so the film is called Free to Run, and it's basically following Zainab and Zara and UN human rights attorney Stephanie Case during the Taliban takeover, and basically documenting the effort to keep the NGO Free to Run alive during that time.
Well, and this goes beyond, because Free to Run. So you both are from Afghanistan, and are still. So I want come a little closer, because I want to make sure we can get you in the shot. So, and now since you're in Colorado.
Yes, I am, yeah.
Okay, and where are you based now?
New Hampshire.
Okay, and you're both Fulbright scholars as well. What has been the focus of your project as a Fulbright scholar, and what does it mean for you to be part of this project right now, and of course the film?
So, the focus of my Fulbright research was about how to empower refugees and immigrants economically, but it was changed before that. When I came to US, I wanted to do more women in sports, and how I can help women access sports, any kind of sports, indoor or outdoor. But with the Taliban takeover, it changed, and we couldn't go back to do our research, so we shifted our focus.
Okay. And it's similar?
Somehow, like for me, the Fulbright journey was just like getting a Fulbright scholarship is so difficult, and especially for the women who are coming from a country like Afghanistan. Like women are so motivated, but in some ways, some people are just restricting them to not pursue their dreams. And when I got accepted into Fulbright scholarship, that was a very it was a huge deal. Yeah. And then just being there and just showing the girls and women there that they can do anything that they want, because I'm just an example of them. And therefore, it's just an empowerment to the women, and also just building ourselves as well to be the leaders of tomorrow and to support women. So that's the whole concept of Fulbright scholarship, is that building and creating leaders for tomorrow, and especially for women. So we need more leaders from women to represent women and to empower women. So therefore, when I joined Free to Run, so running and sporting activities is another kind of restrictions that women cannot do outdoor activities in Afghanistan. So therefore, I came into this sport because I just wanted to show other girls and women that they can also join running and outdoor activities.
What's possible for them as well. And tell everyone just how you got connected. Is it Stephanie that's also part of, she's not here, but she's the founder of Free to Run. So tell everyone real quick, because we're going to talk more extensively over the weekend, but tell them just what that looked like for you to be part of Free to Run in Afghanistan. It was, and before the Taliban took over more recently. So like Stephanie had you out running, and
yes,
that was new for you, right?
Yeah, so it's a very long story, but yeah, I got the opportunity to be in Free Runs team and to train with them. Women were not running a lot on Kabul's street outdoor, even before Taliban takeover. Now it's impossible, something impossible. So I was part of their first mixed gender running team, and that was where I met with Stephanie, and then we trained, we did some races. We were kind of the same girls who were stepping out of our comfort zone to train in Kabul situation. So when we say Kabul situation, we need to see what does it mean, and then to be an example for other girls. Yeah,
It's extraordinary. And we should also note, too, your families are still back in Afghanistan?
Yes, my family is still back in Afghanistan. Yeah.
Your families as well?
Yeah, same. Yeah.
And we'll talk more extensively about that and your story, and we'll make sure that we feature you as well. How are you involved in the film?
So my wife and I are the directors and producers for the film and put the whole thing together. So we worked alongside each other and our team that we brought on, and these amazing women that we got to work with. So
it's extraordinary. It's a wonderful film, and welcome to Nevada City. And yeah, when I saw the film and I knew that you were coming, it's a special gift to have incredible women like you here in our community and part of this festival. So we're so grateful you were all here, and thank you so much for creating this film and capturing also Stephanie's story in this too. So more to come, and real quick, when is it screening?
Tonight at 7:30 and tomorrow night at 8:30.
Okay. And real quick, what is your message to women around the world?
My message is going to be just think, wherever you are, think about other women. Maybe you are in a good position where you are, but some other women are not. Also, some those women who are not in a good position, I want them to look to other women and have them as their example. So that way, if all women should be connected and think about each other and try to uplift each other.
It's wonderful. And real quick, what would be your message to women around the world?
My message to women around the world is that just think that they are also women, and women has always been, like during history, always have been restricted because of religion or because of some other kind of cultural things. And this kind of cultural restrictions are also going in Afghanistan. It's culture and also it's religion. And because of that, women has been restricted. Like now, women cannot go to school. Women of Afghanistan cannot go to work, and also even they cannot, they do not have the control over their own bodies. So therefore, just think about it that that you are living in a world that, like we are living in the 21st century, and the woman, the half of population of Afghanistan, they do not have their basic human rights. So think about it and be a voice for them, and raise awareness and talk to your leaders, raise the voice of Afghan women, and to give them opportunities, like they think about them and give them some opportunities when you have the time. Like when you see a woman from Afghanistan, if they need that kind of encouragement, just be that encouragement for them, because right now they really need that. So therefore, be a voice for Afghan women.
Well, thank you so much for being here, and we appreciate it, and we're excited to connect with you around the festival, and welcome, and thanks again.
Thanks for having us.
Part of the work that, and thank you, and we'll have, we'll get our next guest. Thanks so much. Thanks, everyone. I know it's action-packed. Part of it is, I often say, how do we show up for her and how do we show up for each other? And that is a really big part of this festival, and thinking about community and hope and solutions and how do we each step into this. And it's an extraordinary weekend, and I'm so glad you're part of this. We're going to be with you here until 5:30. Hi, come on down. I'm Elisa.
I'm Molly. Nice to meet you.
Oh, hi, Molly. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Oh, so Molly, you're also on the jury? Well, no, you're not. Okay, I'm making things up.
Me for that.
They would it? I would. You're climbing like ice. She's climbing like sides of ice on mountains. So I think there's a lot to trust you with.
Thanks.
In fact, I was watching your film recently. Well, first tell everyone what the title of the film is.
The film is The Scale of Hope, made by Patagonia and Liars and Thieves.
So, and you're connecting with one of your mentors in it, and you're asking her opinions on just navigating. You were getting ready to go on a big climb. She's like, part of it is showing up in yourself and trusting that.
Yeah, there's a lot of self-doubt inherent in mountain climbing and ice climbing, and so having a mentor, especially a woman, that can really speak to that experience and kind of guide you through that is incredibly helpful.
So, Molly, tell everyone about your film, because you've been on an extraordinary journey from working with Obama's climate action team way back when and talking about mental health as well. What is it that you thought now is the time to tell this story?
Well, it's actually kind of a funny story how it all came to be, but Patagonia had just reached out to me, coincidentally, about a film they planned to make about alpinism and climate change. And I recommended, just as kind of an advisor, that they make a film that leads with hope on climate, because we don't have any of those. And partway through, they decided that to tell the story about the kind of nexus between climate change and alpinism, they wanted to tell that through character, which is why they kind of changed the treatment in order to tell my story. And because of that, mental health became a big part of the story, because I live with bipolar 2 disorder. It's something I struggle with, but I'm also really proud of, and a really important part of my identity and story. And so that's kind of where this third leg of the story came in, a bit between climate change, alpinism, and mental health.
And I mean, mental health, especially in our times right now, post-pandemic, which we hope post-pandemic, it's like one of the key things we need to talk about. Often we haven't talked about it. I feel like now with the pandemic, we're starting to. How is this shaping you now since the pandemic, and being an advocate and even discussing that? Like, what is your key messaging about it, and just in your own personal experience?
Yeah.
Recently.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredibly relevant today, and not everybody knows what it's like to have a diagnosed mental illness, but everybody does know what it's like to struggle in some way. And that's a big part of, how it is on this earth, how it is to live. And so one of the big things we've been talking about kind of coming out of the film is this idea that you can be proud of the things you struggle with most in life. And when you really kind of dive into suffering or dive into pain, you can kind of come out the other side with a different perspective and an appreciation for it. Because when I kind of guide, I talk to a lot of audiences, and what's really interesting is that they want to talk about mental health far more than any other issue I talk about. Yeah. And what's really interesting is when I guide them through an exercise, for example, where they think about the last time they struggled. It's an awful experience, of course, to experience pain, frustration, anger, just anything that just doesn't feel good. But when people actually think it through, they wouldn't give up those feelings and experiences if they could, which really says something about, how it is today.
What are your new endeavors now? What are you taking on?
Well, so since the film, it was filmed a bit ago, and so I've done an expedition to Alaska since, where we returned to the mountain that we attempted to climb and climbed it successfully. So it was much better conditions, much better weather. And then I'm going back to Alaska this coming spring to climb on the Ruth Gorge, an adjacent glacier.
That's amazing. Well, Obama, when he asks you and he says, Molly, what are you going to do? I know you've been talking about climbing mountains, so tell everyone what you said. And also, do you think, in following up what he said, like seeing you back, what that looks like for you in the future?
Well, so it is my most embarrassing life story. But yeah, so I was a climate advisor for the Obama White House, and for political appointees, they'll actually bring you into the Oval Office, and he says thank you, and it's considered like a departure. And so at my departure, he asked me what anybody would ask somebody leaving, which is, what are you going to do next? In a really happy, excited way. And somehow I hadn't prepared the answer to the most obvious question anybody would ask. And I stared at him, and then I stuttered, I'm going to go climb mountains. And he'd really expected me to speak to my work on what we were doing on climate change at the White House, and how I was going to continue that mission in whatever external capacity. And I did not answer that way. And so he just went, and I just stared at him like I had no idea what he meant. And he kept saying this over and over, and then finally I realized he was asking no, what are you going to do with the rest of your life, Molly? Get it together. And that's when I kind of spoke to climate, and he said, good, we expect you back in this fight.
All right, and you're back in it.
Yeah.
Here you are. I know she never really left. Really, real quick, what would be your message to everyone around the world who's thinking, maybe they are feeling down or thinking, why me, or what can I accomplish?
There's a lot of power in leading with hope. That's not only just something we know kind of through storytelling, but it's actually backed by psychology research, that when you lead with hope, it can be one of the number one indicators of longevity. It can make you heal from surgery faster. It can make you heal from trauma faster. And so you can apply that to other facets of your life, whether it's mental health or your job or any other sort of life experience, your relationships, climate change. All of those things become very relevant because it's a way to motivate people. And when hope can correlate with motivation, then we can really use it and harness it to power movements.
I love that. Thank you so much, Molly. And we'll be talking more extensively over the weekend, and we're going to see you around the festival. It's great to have you here. Thanks so much. Okay. And let's see. And who else do we have, Kimberly? Oh, hi. I'm Elisa. Is Junior? Hi, Junior. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Fly fisherman we have right here at Wild and Scenic. It's great to have you here with us. And so tell everyone, hi Faith again.
Hi.
Tell us what the name is of the film that you're representing.
The film is called Waiting for Change, like waiters.
Right, because in fly fishing, are you up in Montana?
Jackson Hole.
Wyoming.
Yes, that's right.
Tell everyone a little synopsis about your story and why it was so important to tell this story today, in this moment.
In this moment, pues la historia era para la raza. It was, for my family, for people that look like me. Trying to thrive in the outdoors is quite costly. We're very, if you see people of color doing outdoor activities, they probably had to sacrifice a lot, whether it's money, family, time. I've missed a lot of birthdays. I've missed a lot of family.
You talk about that, your family. Where are they based at?
They're in Houston, Texas.
Houston, okay, in Texas.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right. What is one significant thing you want everyone to take away from experiencing this film and your personal story?
Yeah, I think just reiterating what I was saying, it costs a lot to be able to thrive in these outdoor spaces, especially mountain towns like mine. Probably here, I'm walking around, I'm not seeing a lot of people.
Right, I hear you, Junior, I hear you.
Yeah, it's hard. But Faith, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I would say, being a part of helping to produce Junior's beautiful story, I think what you're saying is right. And I think for folks that maybe feel like they should be thriving and don't get to also acknowledge that it's hard to make choices that potentially bring you away from family and bring you away from the comfort that you've always known in order to pursue your dreams, that that both of those truths can exist. Yeah.
Right. They can exist together. And when is the film screening?
Oh, the screening's better.
All right, Junior.
Tomorrow and Sunday.
1 o'clock tomorrow and the Adventure Shorts 2.
Yup.
And Sunday around 10 a.m.
10:30 at Old Fellows, Nevada City.
It could be the Old Fellows, too. It was. I'm sure it has the history here like that. And are you going to fly fish at the Yuba?
No, but I visited the Yuba today. It was quite beautiful. I wanted to swim in it, but
man, it's the best river to come back in the summer. It's one of the best rivers to go swimming in.
Exciting to be here.
Well, I look forward to talking to you both more extensively about this, and I know we're getting ready to wrap up shortly with the Wild and Scenic Film Fest Media Lounge. We'll be stopping at 5:30 for KVMR, and then we have an opportunity as we're live streaming to make sure we get everyone in here. So it's a pleasure. I'm Elisa Parker, and it's been great to be here with you. We're kicking off Wild and Scenic 21 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's amazing. I know. It is. So, and we appreciate you being here so much, and I'm excited to talk to you further. So thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you.
I feel like we're going to give everyone a round of applause. Yeah. And we have one more. Oh, right. We're going to get it real quick. And 1 minute. And let me know, please. And we'll do it. And as we're wrapping up for KVMR, and we've been interrupting our regular programming. Hi.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Great.
So let me have you introduce yourself.
I'm Matt Mickelson.
I'm Palmer Morse.
Palmer. Oh, my gosh. Palmer has 1,000 films at Wild and Scenic, and they're all amazing, beautiful films. Can you name them off real quick, Palmer?
Yeah, of course. So we're really excited to premiere Yuba is the Heart, which is a film that we made with and for Circle, which is really exciting for their 40th anniversary. We have Elevated, Miles to Go, and Inseparable Sky. So a lot of films, a lot going on this weekend. We're just really psyched to be back.
It's so great to have you both here. And I'm thinking of all the movies. There's She's from Hawaii, and she's a rock climber. You focus a lot on diversity and the naturescape that surrounds that. Can you tell a little bit more about that, how it's been so important in your films that you've had featured here?
Yeah, absolutely. So the film you're referencing is Inseparable Sky, and that film is actually part of our larger series, which is 3 episodes that is about various indigenous women across the United States who are using sport to connect to land, history, and culture. The episode we have here is about a Kanaka rock climber named Sky Koliani, and we're just so thrilled to be back and talk about sacred spaces and what it means to approach sacred spaces ethically and appropriately, especially when we talk about recreation.
Right, for sure. How about for you?
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's we stand from a place of privilege when we spend time outside, and using the tools that we have at our disposal to help share the message of people who aren't as privileged is really important to us. So.
Right. Well, I know we're wrapping it up, so real quick, I just want to ask you, what would be your message to everyone about why it's important to show up and be part of a festival like this, and to also tell our own stories?
I think the first year I was here, the kind of tagline of the festival is like, this is where activists come to recharge. And that has remained true, I think, every time we come to this festival. It's one of our favorites for sure.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, I'd say that these impactful discussions can only happen if we show up. And I think it's important to show up and be present and, have these tough conversations that, are so crucial for all of us to form community and, be together.
Thank you, Palmer. Thanks so much, you guys. Well, hope, unity, listening, being part of the solution. This is going to be an extraordinary weekend. We hope that you join us to be part of it, whether it's online or listening via the radio on KVMR, or coming on down here and connecting with other filmmakers and the special guests and that are being featured here and the workshops. There's so much, and there's so much here for every single one of you. So we appreciate you, and thank you to KVMR for enabling us to share this story with all of our listeners. I'm Elisa Parker. I love being part of this, and we're going to be featuring more incredible stories over the weekend. So come by and join us. Thanks to our crew, our team of volunteers, and Communal Cafe, where the Wild Scenic Film Fest Media Lounge is happening this year. And it's not goodbye, but we'll see you later this weekend. Thanks so much.